Yes, gamers, we back, and this is the RG405M.
I'd just like to say a big thank you to Anbernic for sending me this review unit, much appreciated.
This may well be Anbernic's best device that they've released yet. I'm not too sure, but I've seen and heard some really good things about it. So without further ado, let's get into this unboxing, impressions, and my first look.
So this thing is running on Android 12, and yes, we got Google Play Store straight and in there and ready to use off the bat, which makes life a hell of a lot easier. And why is this important? Well, we'll be able to play games from the Play Store and other day-to-day conveniences that will help this device run smoothly. Not only that, this will be their first Android system where they're using CNC aluminium alloy technology. The terminologies are a lot. What I can tell you is that means more to do with the crafting of the outer shell, maybe milling tools were used and stuff like this. Overall, the hard aluminium shell. So the dimensions: length 16.3 centimeters, width 7.6 centimeters, and height 1.59 centimeters, and a weight of 0.260 kg. Needless to say that this is going to be a very compact and easy to carry around device for what it is, especially when you compare it to the likes of the 505 or the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus or 3, whichever it is, which are a lot larger in size, making it not so easy to carry in the pocket. This will be obviously the opposite. Look at this thing, look at it. No, I'm just playing. It looks really good. It looks very durable, obviously because of the outer shell, the gradient, the texture. It makes the AB and XY buttons really pop. And one of the other most noticeable things on here are those external edges. They just sweep around, not completely, but they're very smooth on the edges from front to back. It's just very smooth, and this is going to make the device a lot easier to hold, a lot more comfortable. Joy-Cons appear to be in a different place. I mean, let's look at the front layout. It's slightly different. The last time I saw something like this from Anbernic was with the 350 devices, and this has been said before. I don't know if it's going to be an issue or not, but because of the size of it, I don't think it will be. Most of our games are probably going to be used with a D-pad in general anyway, and then we'll most likely use the analog sticks for things like the Android games, which in my opinion, I don't think that it's a bad thing that they're positioned that way. So what? Top left, bottom right. Not to forget the D-pad and the rest of the buttons. That feels alright actually. It feels like it's going to be decent for thimbles. You've got your home and your back button right here, and that's nice and clicky. I like what they've done with the start and select, symbolizing that they are start and select, and those are also clicky. You got your A, B, your XY buttons. They feel nice. They've obviously got membranes inside of them, so they're not going to be too soft or too hard. A decent balance there. So you got your R1 and your R2 buttons. Those are nice and clicky. They look a little bit smaller, but they're decent. The L1 and the L2 as well, they're decent as well, nice and clicky, tactile. Along the top here, you got your power button, your volume rocker, your USB Type-C port. This appears to be an LED indicator, and then you've got some heat vents right there to dissipate the heat. I think that's the correct word. On the sides, there's nothing on the sides on either of them. You just can see those smoothed out edges. Along the bottom, you can see here your speaker grill, one on the left and one on the right, or right and then left. Let's see how they sound later on. You've got your TF card slot, and also you've got your headphone jack. Alright then, let's talk displays. Really thin bezels on there, so that looks right. It is a touchscreen, by the way, running a 4-inch. It's also 640 by 480. It's also IPS touch, and that will allow you to touch the screen with multiple touches at the same time. The battery is 4500 mAh. Heavier games, Anbernic say that you can get up to 5 hours, and with your lighter games, we could be looking at 12 hours. That's yet to be seen, but hopefully those numbers can be hit. The overall feel of this device, just holding it in the hand as well, it actually feels around the size of a mobile phone. Let me take this time to do a button shake test. As you can see there, it's not particularly loud, which is great, so the buttons are not going to be rattling all over the place. Signs of a well-built device. So, let's do a device comparison. We'll get in the RG405. As you can see, it is a hell of a lot bigger with a much bigger display. And then from the top, let's get the 353M in there from top. You can see that it's quite a bit smaller than the new device. And then from flat at the bottom, just straighten that up. There. And then let's slide the PSP in there from front side. And then top, whoops, and then top. And there you have it.
So this is the first time I'm going to be booting up the device. Hit that power button, got a bit of a vibrate there, and we know how this usually goes. There's always a kind of setting up process, and it does take a little while, as Anbernic do in Anbernic Android fashion. While that's happening, let's have a quick look at the pricing and the specs. Also, feel free to just hit the pause button so you can have a look at the specs in greater detail. However, I'm going to leave a link in the description below, so that I'll be able to give you more information anyway. And then after that, just feel free to press play and continue on the video. I'll leave you with some music while that's happening in the background. Okay, so here we are. Android is up and running Android 12, and the display is pretty responsive right here, as you can see. So let's just pull down the toggle bar, the notification bar, and if you've had any of the previous Anbernic Android devices, these menus and options should seem pretty familiar. I mean, we've got the likes of being able to switch your button layout from Nintendo to Xbox or whatever you prefer. And we've also got, if you tap this button here, scroll up, you've got the Anbernic front end on here, which they've made some updates and changes to it. Alright, here we go, loading again. Oh, it's actually pretty quick. Alright, here we are. So you just got to confirm it at this point here. These other little bits which are pretty annoying, but look, we got to go for it, so I'm just going to do it now. Loading up those RetroArch bits. Sorry about this, guys, this is just how it goes. Anyway, so we're back. So these are the current systems that are on here. We're just going to quickly run through. Another awesome feature here is you're able to switch out your themes. So this current RG front end does have a bunch of different themes right here. So let's just go in there and have a play. Again, this is my first impressions of first time playing around with this part, because this is all new to me. Alright, so you've got your systems by various dates. What else can we play with? So if I go back to the first one, click it again. Yeah, alright, so you can change your styles with these as well. Let's see how they look. We'll go through these quickly. Okay, nice, colourful and bright and vibrant. That's always great. And you've got two more which we'll run through. But after all of this, we'll just jump into some gameplay. As far as gameplay goes, this actually seems to be doing a really decent job. I'm somewhat inclined to say it plays a little bit better than the 505 in some cases, especially with that God of War 2. It wasn't like that fresh out of the box for me when I got the 505, but in this case, it's not so bad. Once you get past the setting up of the device, it is pretty much pick up and play. I didn't go through any of the smaller emulation because I know that it's going to just run pretty much flawlessly. I have no doubt that it can run SNES, Mega Drive, PS1 and everything else, so I just went for the top ones on there. They could make some improvements. I think, let's just continue talking about the goods though. The way this device feels, holds and looks, the display really pops. I've heard that people say that they could have done better with the display, but to me, for the size of what it is, I think that works okay. The way it feels, it's nice, it's sleek, it's premium, and it's exactly what you would expect from a handheld of this caliber, of this price range as well. Anbernic do a really great job when it comes to these metal handhelds. I think going forward, all handhelds should be made metal, but obviously they cost a lot of money. Here's what I think they could have done though with this device. I think they could have done with adding the HDMI out. I think it'd be nice to hook this up especially to the TV. I don't know if they're going to do that later on with another device, but for this one they could have done it. They didn't do it on the 505. They could have dropped it on this one and that would have been fair and that would have been nice. I'm not sure why they didn't, but it's not there. Or if they couldn't do that, then maybe a dedicated sort of screen mirroring app. Obviously you'd have to have a great internet connection, but a screen mirroring app, an Anbernic screen mirroring app that would be dedicated to just connecting this thing to the TV. Again, overall, I think this device is actually fantastic. I'm going to show more gameplay and stuff later on down the road as we go. Guys, I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you down the road. Thanks for watching. Take care, stay safe. Peace.